This is a series of 100 films about Japanese foods that I've eaten, and this is a film about an everyday food that has taken on a somewhat extraordinary life. Sure, you may be wondering why something as mundane as toast would be of interest to anyone. But everything, thousands of years of culture and history are wrapped up in what you have for breakfast. Japan has limited grain imports, so people are used to white rice. The country is completely self-sufficient in white rice, and only white rice. So white bread is everywhere due to the need to import flour. Whole wheat and multigrain don't exist, at least not in any form you'd recognize. This is the bread section in my local grocery store. Lots of choices. In Tokyo, I had two choices: thick sliced white bread or regular sliced white bread. Atsui! The only place I saw non-white bread was in a cafe in Tama Plaza Station in Yokohama on the Denentoshi line, where they baked their own special whole wheat bread. But it was more like white bread speckled with dots of whole wheat. Which brings us to toast. No one in Japan has a toaster. Atsui! Sure, they have toaster ovens, some of which are quite sophisticated. Why, you might ask? Because no one in Japan has a full-sized oven. So it means people tend to buy baked goods at bakeries. They don't tend to make them at home. And in fact, at no point have I ever been offered home-baked goodies by a Japanese person, either cold or atsui. Atsui! Then there is the Japanese breakfast, Western edition, which is comprised of thick toast with cheese and ham, a hard-boiled egg, and salad, which is the main course of this film, you might say. Why don't my friends love it? It turns eating into a childlike adventure to foreigners like myself. That hard-boiled egg, the pleasure of cracking it open and disposing of the shell. Then there's the open-faced sandwich with mayonnaise, a slice of ham, and melted mozzarella or Gouda cheese. This breakfast feels almost ripped out of my long-forgotten childhood that may never have existed. So it's so orderly and precise. Also, it has a salad, almost always comprised of a few leaves of iceberg lettuce, a sprinkling of tomato, and a little bit of corn, topped with a drizzle of miso-flavored salad dressing. This is the standard Japanese breakfast salad. Although some places go all fancy and add a slice of cucumber. So on a practical level, you're getting all the nutrients you need without having to gobble down a bowl of vitamin-enriched Count Chocula. Which is important because except for cornflakes, breakfast cereals are impossible to find unless you go to the grocery store near the German embassy. Why will my friends hate it? Are they vegan? Don't come to Japan. Go to India. Japan isn't a vegetarian country. Oh sure, you can go to a Buddhist temple. Maybe you can get vegetarian food there. Maybe. But you'd be missing out on all the fun. Everything in Japan comes with meat. Not to mention the traditional Japanese breakfast. Oh yes, this is only half the breakfast story. Secondly, Japan is not noted for its gigantic portion sizes. This isn't a Denny's off the I-95 outside Fort Lauderdale. If you're planning to hike mountains later in the day, you might want to make alternate arrangements. Where can I get it? That's right, you guessed it, the old standby, Pronto Cafe. It has a breakfast set that is basic, but it fits the bill. If you're new to Japan, you'll probably want to start in Tokyo from Shinjuku Station, since it's the busiest train station in the world. You board the Yamanote line, take that train in the Osaki direction to Ebis Station. Go out the east exit. When you get to the street level, it's the first shop on your right next to the Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi UFJ ATM. Shebang, you're there, total cost 230 yen. As always, remember that this information is probably out of date by the time you're watching this. The word of the day. The word of the day is atsui. This is a useful word. It usually means hot. Hot weather, hot food. Don't use it with people, that sounds weird. And don't use it to refer to spicy food. There's another word for that. Also, with an alternate kanji, it also means thick, as in this slice of bread is atsui. So if you want to remember this word, feel free to watch this video 10 more times and repeat along with me. At least that's what I do. Next time. So that's it until next time, when we talk about the one food that has divided Japan for centuries like the blade of a samurai's sword. So until then, sayonara.